Hey guys, it's Bane here, back again with another account review, and today we're going to be looking at Strategister's account, finally back on the giveaways for a little bit. It looks like a fairly endgame account, so I'm not sure what we're heading into, so I guess let's try to find something to talk about. Strategister was in chat earlier, I don't know if he's here still. Just kind of wanted a general overview for what to do in his account, how to progress it. So let's try to find something to talk about. I guess I'm going to go off and talk about the characters. So obviously what I see here is you have a lot of statues at Zenith. So this means you have a lot of drop rate. You've gotten obviously a fairly large amount of statues, means your drop rate's fairly high, which means you probably are more of a paid pack type person. Considering your corals at 132, your spelunking's 289 at Zenith. So I want to see kind of what'll confirm that for me is honestly Zenith market. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so definitely a pack guy. Probably 3,000, 4,000 plus drop rate on your character. New DK is my guess. If it calculates properly, that is. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know if this is impacting like a gallery multi or something, but fairly high drop rate. Look at your equipment. Yeah, you have the robe, you have the cape, you have 15 mil gold cake on your character. So decent. I'd probably get this up to 17 mil because this will probably give you a pretty decent amount of gold food. Drop rate rather. If you get the extra 1.7 mil, 2 mil gold cakes on your characters. Okay. So get that done, get a little bit extra drop rate that way, help you scale. Remember, the drop rate you get additively from the golden cakes is very significant. Talked about this, or looked at it in the previous review. I don't want to talk about it too much because we went kind of in depth about drop rate there, but go from 41.31 to 34.17 if I drop my golden cakes. So gold cakes is a very decent source of drop rate. So get that extra 2 mil, really help increase your character's drop rate there. Okay. Moving on from that. You have luckiest lad, cool. Cards, maybe this is probably something to talk about. So definitely what I recommend for you to do, there's two things here. Number one, try to get mini chief spirits up to 6 stars. This takes a lot of candy, takes a lot of drop rate and stuff, right? And card drop rate. So few things I want to talk about there is if you don't have the exalted stamp for card drop rate done yet, I highly recommend trying to get that or do that already, which you have already. Perfect, good. This gives a lot of card drop rate, and it's how you get a lot of cards at 6 star nowadays. And for those of you wondering, 6 star cards come at come with spelunking. So spelunking is what gets you up to that 6th tier of cards, that like purple, like weird card looking thing. So this gives you a lot of flat drop rate, pretty good for a card, especially now that we have like card multi and stuff, right? Other thing is Coral Cave Guardian. I think in the previous shop rotation, there were Ruby cards. So if you don't have a Ruby cards, I recommend trying to get Ruby cards. The Cardifier when it comes back in limited time shop rotation. But you want to naturally try to farm this up to 3 star. And then you want to buy a 4 star Cardifier from Gem Shop. And then if you have the Ruby Cardifier, you can Ruby card this because this will give you up to, I think, 5 or 6% drop rate multi, which is fairly good. Double check what the 5-star card is. So the 5-star card here is 6% drop rate multi. The next thing to do, because this is passive, is try to get Coral Cave Crab up to 6% gallery bonus multi. So same thing, trying to get this to 3-star naturally, 4-star cardify it, then 5-star cardify it, because this is gallery bonus. This is a multiplier to drop rate multi and drop rate. So this is really good when you're trying to scale drop rate or even AFK gains across your character. Even if you're a free-to-play player and you eventually get to Coral Cave Guardian, being able to get those Reliquarium name tags give you a bunch of drop rate multi and AFK gains, which is impacted by gallery bonus multi. So the more you scale that gallery bonus multi, the more AFK gain multi and drop rate multi you're going to get. So gallery bonus multi is something you absolutely want to find every single source of, and that comes from a pet companion, comes from cards, Coral Cave Guardian, obviously. Comes from bubbles. So if you Prisma the Cod for your rules bubble, that gives you gallery bonus multi. Clamworks has gallery bonus multi as well. I think probably a few other sources I'm forgetting about and blinking on right now, but gallery bonus multi, if you ever find a source of it in the game, hard focus it because of how impactful it is, how broad of a bonus it is really good. Absolutely a bonus you want to go out of the way to try to get a ton of. And easiest way right now, obviously, Cod for your rules, that bubble, that card, Coral Cave Crab, trying to get that up to 6 star for that passive gallery bonus multi is really good. Okay, cool. Move away from cards. Talk a lot about drop rate in the previous video, so I kind of want to avoid that. But definitely a very end game player I see here. You have a bunch of hyper opals, right? So let's try to find something outside of that to talk about. But I did actually go to your character tab for a reason. I want to look at your equipment. So main thing I'm looking for here is just equal stacks of gold food across your character. I guess this is probably a good time to talk about why you know what gold food you actually want on your characters. So at a bare minimum, obviously golden grilled cheese knowledge is really good. This will help your characters with damage, making sure you actually kill a lot of mobs. If you're outside of World 7, it'll give you a lot of kill per kill, so you actually get able to get a lot of kills on mobs. The golden dumplings, absolutely necessary no matter what world you're in or what activity your characters are doing outside of like nothing hours. This will scale the effectiveness of the activity they're doing, and I guess also monuments, right? This will give you a ton of AFK gains, so you are fighting more often. Sorry, got distracted by something. Give me 1 second, guys. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, give you a bunch of AFK gains. So if you're fighting something, gives you a bunch of fighting AFK gains for that. So if you're trying to progress World 7, the best way to scale that is through AFK gains. That's in large part going to come from golden dumplings, right? Having a 1 mil on the beanstalk, having a lot on your characters. With how much drop rate you have, it's fairly easy to split that across. But absolute necessary these days for those 6 slots: golden nomages, golden dumplings, golden cheese. And then outside of that, it kind of starts becoming more flex slots. Like if you have golden cake on your character for drop rate, if you're on DK or something, really good, recommended to have. Golden nigiri for the class EXP game, also a good one to have. What do I have on my character? I have golden ham. That's right. I recommend golden ham. Even if you're not doing skill EXP, I recommend it. I don't believe this impacts construction EXP, honestly. No, it doesn't. But if you're doing any skill EXP, this just prevents me from having to put this on my character if I ever do any type of skilling. So this is a decent amount of skill EXP. I just have it on my character for like no reason. There's also saltwater taffy. You don't need this. This is kind of an empty slot since my characters aren't really doing spelunking. But I have this here for if I ever go into spelunking, I kind of have it on my character, and I kind of need to redistribute a stack because I have a lot more than 42,000 now. I have 8 mil I can split across my characters, so I can redistribute that if I need. But there are essentially 3 slots that are kind of flex, but I recommend having the golden ham, having golden saltwater taffy, and probably golden nigiri, honestly. Swapping out the golden nigiri or saltwater taffy for like drop rate on your character if you're doing DK farming or something. But yeah, highly recommend at least the bare minimum golden dumplings, golden grilled cheese sandwiches, and golden cheese. Just to have that for sure on your characters. The shrine leveling is really important for golden cheese. The damage, cash percent, the kill per kill that golden grilled cheese sandwiches gives you is really good. Obviously, the AFK gains is universally really good no matter what activity you're doing outside of nothing hours and monument hours, right? Because those aren't impacted by AFK gains. Cool. Yeah, so those are like bare minimum, which you should have on your characters. Cool. Okay. Outside of that, what I'd probably recommend focusing on is trying to get most of your statues to 450 plus, the ones that don't take an insane amount of time farming. For example, like World 6, maybe World 5 statues. Dragon Warrior statue getting this to 450 is relatively easy. I mean, based off of where you are in the game, this should be something you should aim for. So make sure to turn off cluster farming, make sure to put your characters in the Ancient Golem's Cavern of the Hole, and try to get this to 450. It gives you a ton of statue bonus, which is really important because a Feasty statue for the food effect gives you a ton of damage with weapon power foods. You're able to get more like Emperor Showdowns, for example, or total damage dealt to the dummy on the Shimmer Island, right? To give you, more tome points or whatever. Really, really good. Yeah, what else? And just generally, people try to aim for level 450 statues just to kind of, I guess that's the new kind of push goal for people in World 7. And for tome progress, obviously, because the more statue levels you have, the better it is. So you can go out and farm board beans, get more power statues here. You can farm out rams, getting more speed statue, mining statue, feasty statue, and lumberbob statue. These 2 statues right here, mining and lumberbob, give you a ton of print like efficiency for mining and chopping. Obviously, if you do World 2 statue farming for fishing power and catching power, get more prints there as well. Kind of aim you, better position you in the future to get more prints that way. The mining power you get from the statue in combination with the statue bonus from a Dragon Warrior statue as well as Voodoo statuification from V-Man give you a ton of mining efficiency. This, coupled with the hole as well, also give you a bunch of copper ore prints, so you're able to get more atoms, and atoms are really important for Atom Collider nowadays because we're up to level 70 for atoms, which is really important for aluminum atom, helium atom, well, I guess you can't really do that, but boron maybe, and fluoride, obviously. All that you need a bunch of atoms for. I think right now, going from 50 to 51 costs 197 trillion atoms. So we're in the point where it's taking almost Q atoms to upgrade some of these. So reprinting, aiming to reprint, getting more skill efficiency is really, really important for the future. So there's a reason to still push atoms, push your prints higher. It's just very, very tedious, but it's less tedious than it was before World 7 because now we have passive name tags. I guess the only annoying thing now is having to manage the grades on your trophy, like AFK gains and skill AFK gain and stuff is more important than drop rate, obviously. So a little bit of manual stuff, but it's kind of gone away a little bit with World 7, just a little bit, right? But yeah, aim to reprint. Always try to farm out that Dragon Warrior statue to 450. Get more mining statue and lumber bob statue to increase your prints there as well. Stamps. Not really much you can do about Exalteds, but most of them are good with the exception of Belia stamp, honestly. And Explosion stamp and Skelefish stamp. Nowadays, Summoner Stone stamp's not that good. Drop plots and Drippy Drop are kind of debatable. The Potion stamp is a really bad one because Feasty statue handles most of the boost effect you could possibly get. I mean, you're getting 700% from the stamp versus 405,000 or 777,000 from the statue itself, depending on the character you're on. Let's go over to World 2, check your bubbles. Bubble levels are pretty high. Pretty good. Okay. Pretty good prismas. Nowadays, I lean less towards prismaing the main stat bubbles because they effectively cap out at 100,000, excluding prisma, with diminishing returns now because linear bubbles were changed in a recent update, so they don't scale linearly as much anymore. They diminish after level 50,000. So you still have some levels and bubbles to go before you hit that diminishing point, but they start going towards 100,000 outside of like Prisma bonus, right? So I lean less on prismaing these bubbles. They're not as important as they were before because of how they've been changed. So you could redistribute those prismas towards the multipliers. Molt Orange, Premagreen, Zavira Purple, Mage's Best, Archer Boss, Warrior's Rule, and then like Cod Free rules are like really important, right? I didn't really think this is a good prisma, to be honest. I mean the masterclass resource bubbles are really good prismas. Yeah, 1 mil is full cap, 100k. No, it diminishes towards 100,000. Let me check the patch notes again. Bubble level 1 million gives you 80,000 stat. It tops out at a theoretical max of 100,000 main total stat. That's what the poll said, so I don't know if it's changed with the update, but effectively caps at 100,000 stat. It takes millions of bubble levels to do that for these first bubbles. So a lot of this comes from like Cattle Croc bubbles leveling, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few reviews ago I talked about which bubbles from World 7 are worth prismaing. TLDR is basically just Codfree rules. Number one recommendation of things to prisma there. I lean less on Cattle to Goat now because those linear bubbles have diminishing effect. You can realistically get there without prismaing this bubble, to be honest. If you do some cluster farming, leveling up the Zenith market for plus Cattle Croc bubbles, doing Clamworks for plus Cattle Croc bubbles, getting the stamp, waiting on no stamp left behind to hit it in a few months, you can effectively hit that like 50,000 bubble level pretty easily. But I don't really think it's worth the prisma nowadays because of how linear bubbles have been affected, or at least those stat bubbles, not really that good anymore. So maybe I would consider prismaing the masterclass resources, specifically tachyons, more than the other two. And then honestly, probably like spelunking efficiency because of how much spelunking efficiency you need to get some of those vials to 13. Again, not that good of a prisma, but if you have leftover ones, maybe consider that. Or you can also save them for future World 7 bubbles, because we haven't gotten all the bubbles from World 7 yet. So you can also save them for the last two for each of the cauldrons, see what they give. Right? If they give something akin to gallery bonus multi, might be worth prismaing, but definitely don't pre-prisma it, right? Because you don't know what they give. But definitely on the lookout. Future updates for World 7 will introduce these bubbles, and they might be like insane, or they might be terrible. We don't know. Cauldrons, cool. I don't even know why I look at this, honestly. Most endgame have completed that. I guess the one thing I would consider trying to focus on is trying to get God Shard Vial to 13. This is a lot easier. World 7 reduced the requirement to forging these bars. Still very tedious, mind you, but it's possible to get this vial to 13 like it was Dreadnought back in the day. Yep. 0.09, pretty good. I think this is bugged. I don't think this is 0.9% or 0.9 times. I think it's meant to be 0.09 or even less than that, 0.009. I don't know. But 20 upgrades does not give you 0.9. There's no way. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Kilroy upgrades, what I recommend nowadays is obviously buy out the arcade balls because it caps now. So buy out that. And then personally, what I do is I do like 20 to 30 upgrades per week into Godfrey. This one right here. Initially, it says it gives you a 5% chance to get +1 like grade, like your lowest grade is +1 or whatever. You can do that 2 times, and then the bonus changes to gallery bonus multi. So really, really insane upgrade from Kilroy. Highly recommend spending, like mandatory you spend Kilroy skulls into this, but it costs 15 per upgrade. And the bonus itself scales really, really slow. So you don't want to spend all of your skulls on it, but definitely spending a good portion of your skulls is important. And then what I do, I'm kind of biased. I put a lot of my points into masterclass resources. You don't have to. Probably the better one long-term is probably the EXP boost for all skills in World 7. And the core one is really, really bad because it adds to the statue. So if you have the statue at Onyx, you're getting all the coral effect you possibly need. So you do not need to level that Kilroy upgrade at all. It is really, really bad, especially considering it takes 10 skulls per upgrade. Do not touch the coral upgrade one. Is really, really bad. You could preemptively upgrade the last Kilroy, the Bilroy upgrade. But considering it's a mystery bonus, we don't know what it gives. It's not worth it right now. So I wouldn't really put too many points into this, but you could start spending it into it just in case it's like a really insane bonus. But don't emphasize it right now because we don't know what it is. It could be a really bad upgrade in the future or just like not that good. Cool. Okay. Not talking about that. I want to look at the future upgrades, see if anything comes in rotation soon. Not really. Just make sure to do your weekly bosses, get those trophies because there's premium hats, right? There's Crow Perch and then eventually Pink Headband. 100% save all of your trophies, get those two hats, and then you can start spending it on like gold stopwatches or Kachow statues if they come in here. Because you could find Kachow statues, you could eventually spend all of your your trophies on it. But I think it takes like thousands upon thousands of trophies to get that up to 1 million, so you can actually zenith Kachow statues. But if they ever come in rotation, they're worth it. But my recommendation is do not spend your trophies until you finish or get those premium hats, the Pink Headband and the Crow Perch. Trading gold watches for Pink Headband is so crazy to me. The thing is, Tim, here's the thing. It gives you masterclass resources, which is really good. But the more important thing there is it gives you 0.01x hat multi, which is insane because that's drop rate multi, that's AFK gain multi, it's flat drop rate, it's more masterclass resources, obviously. So it broadly impacts your account. And I think it's more worth it than trying to save up for an additional golden stopwatch. Or I guess in this case, it would be what? And 30, 30, 33 or something? No, Tim's memeing. Tim's memeing 100%. And it's +1 slab. Absolutely. Just remember my prints. Don't look at them reprinting. I already looked at your print. I'm not too, whatever. Not too pressed on it, but remember to, I think the best thing about your prints, or the best thing for your prints is going to be statue farming, like we mentioned earlier, mining statue, lumber bob, dragon warrior statue, doing more hull, trying to get more bravery sword damage and stuff. I guess the one thing I want to talk about specifically as it comes to your hull is make sure to actually split your opals. You're losing EXP by not splitting them. Splitting is important because of this upgrade right here. You want to split probably like 20 to 25 opals on all these guys and then put the rest on Belaya. I have a video I did recently where I talked about this. I get more EXP on Belaya by splitting opals than I do by doing all in. So you could gain more EXP on Belaya by actually splitting 20 to 25 opals across the other characters as well. Because this bonus from Cosmo doesn't give the EXP to your lowest opal invested villager. It gives it to every villager. This is a villager EXP multi. So it is really good to split your opals when you have enough opals. You have 400 plus, which means splitting is absolutely worth it for you. Okay. How many opals? I think 300 plus is like 100% worth it. 200 plus, I think you want to do like 10 opal split. Anything below 200, just flip flop all in. Like go all in on one character, the next, and the other, Unfortunate. No 9-dart finish. E-cube. This is World 3 dungeon. Meteorite ring, okay. Not bad, pretty good. Carrot horror. This is really easy slab, as is Adam's leaf. So you have like 2 slabs that are really, really easy here. Oh, World 2 for this, sorry. You have at least 2 slabs that you can complete fairly quickly. I think this is a quest item, and this is another quest item or a drop. I don't remember where the fuck you get carrot horror from. This could be a quest item. You're missing 2 things there. Just Google it. Look up wiki. Get carrot horror. Okay, yeah, quest item. Cool. I don't disagree with your exotic market rotation. Quick PSA to those watching on YouTube. If you have questions about exotic market, I put recommendations every single week in the tips and tricks section. One sec. Find it. Here we go. Every single week, I do recommendations on exotic market. And I create threads and I talk about, the explanation why, give a little bit of reasoning for it. This rotation specifically, I think by the time this video comes out, it may or may not be outdated, but this rotation was like Scientific, Double Petal, Largumes 1, Bountiful 2, Sprout Luck, right? So between these upgrades, I recommended a 3-to-1 or 2-1-1 split on Scientific, Largumes, and Largumes 2. Because the Largumes 1 and 2, Largumes, whatever, they're a bean multi. So this will help you complete, farming, fairly quickly because you can get more, what's it called? You can get more magic beans to upgrade your night market, which will help you finish your 280 crops much faster. If you finish 280 crops and you don't care about like future proofing your farming, you could just go all in on Scientific in my opinion, but I think everyone should try to future-proof because farming is inevitably going to get an update. We're going to get more than 280 crops, and we might get an expansion of glassy crops, and it might take a ton of crop evolution chance to get that last 30 crops or whatever, how many adds, right? So you could need a lot more evolution multi. It could get impacted like cooking was, right? Going from 110 110 to 111 was not that hard in cooking, but going from 111 to 112 took a lot, like E40 extra cooking speed or something, right? Crop evolution chance could undergo the exact same thing, where you take an extra E40, E100 cooking, farming EXP, like farming evolution chance to get the next crop. Like, it could get impacted like that because there's precedence for it in other skills. Maybe you want to future-proof your bean multi, so you can trade that in, get more evolution or Evo GMO, right? To eventually get your extra 10 crops, 20 crops, 30 crops, whatever the number is, right? So yeah, join the Discord, look at tips and tricks in the description as always to help you get, you know, the recommendations of the exotic market upgrades. Sneaking these days is fairly, I don't even know how to describe the current meta for sneaking, but trying to push Mastery 7, getting 100k gemstones in a character. Most of the upgrades for sneaking nowadays revolves around funeral flowers upgrades. Okay, so if you got M7 already, are you pushing M7? What's happening? Seems like you already know about EXP farming, but quick highlight: if you get to a new mastery in sneaking, cool. If you get to a new mastery in sneaking, what I recommend doing is having black belts and yellow belts and sticking in the ghost floor, because that gives you the highest EXP possible on whatever your highest mastery is for that ghost floor. That's how you level up your characters to like an extra 100 levels in sneaking. When you get to a new mastery, it gives you a ton of experience, and the black belts give you a ton of EXP. The yellow belts give you a multiplier to action speed, so you're able to farm, you know, the ghost floor like really, really fast and get a ton of EXP that way. And the more levels you get on your characters, the more stealth you get, right? It's one of the upgrades for sneaking. So yeah, great recommendation. And then you can use that to try to push that mastery, try to go back to previous mastery, get more gemstones, get up to 100k gemstones, right? And make sure to have your Windwalker talent leveled up for sneaking EXP, gemstone multi, to help you get more EXP for those characters when they reach that ghost for the next mastery. $350 endless is pretty good. Beanstalks max, cool. Showdown 129 is pretty good. I mean, I think the one thing I want to talk about specifically for Emperor is trying to push it. The best way to do so is going to get more boost food effect. Talked about this in another review rather recently, but the reason Feasty is really good is because it gives you a ton of weapon power. So the best like food setup you want to do for this is like this. Boost food effect will increase the effectiveness of these foods, the weapon power ones. They give you a ton of weapon power, which translates to a ton of damage. Look at my info here, 33 billion damage right now. If I swap out my food for this stuff, you'll see my damage goes from 33 billion to 3.5 trillion. The weapon power you get from these foods alone is insane, and the way you scale that is with Feasty statue. So getting more Feasty statue levels, getting more Dragon Warrior statue levels, that's kind of how you get more damage, and that'll allow you to push more Emperor showdowns. Generally speaking, the best character to push Emperor on is AC, because the Wisdom itself naturally gives you a ton of boss damage, which is how you do a lot of damage to the boss. That top platform, you can throw skulls back and forth fairly quickly on the World 7. And yeah, I mean, DK would be good, but you need a ton of refinery ranks for it, like thousands upon thousands. But generally speaking, AC is fairly good, probably even better than DK for a while for Emperor showdowns. And I got to 131 with my AC, so it kind of hopefully speaks volumes to it. Yeah. Also, the AC talent, not AC specifically, but Mage itself has a talent right here. You're next. this multiplies the damage your character actually does to it on top of crit damage, on top of base damage, right? So this will make the Emperor take 6 times, 7 times more damage, whatever. And then you mega crit it, right? And then you have the skulls bouncing that do a ton more damage. Right here, make sure to have it super if you don't. But this gives a ton of damage as well. So if you stack up like dozens of skulls, it's going to hit very frequently, do a lot of damage to the Emperor to allow you to push it to further heights. So if you need to push Emperor, do it on AC is the TLDR of that. Make sure to have your boost food for weapon power on. If you don't have the Choco like event food, you can swap that out for a bullet, for example. Get a bunch of weapon power that way. But moral of the story, again, it comes back to statue farming, right? Doing more statue grinding, trying to get these statues up to 450, getting Dragon Warrior up to 450 to get you more damage to push Emperor that way. Okay, Strategister, I'll go ahead and stop there. Hopefully you learned something to work on potentially in your account. Again, I think the big thing there is going to be statue farming. I think you did a good job equalizing gold food. And yeah, a bunch of other small things I guess we talked about that are more general to other people rather than you. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Was that helpful? Did you guys learn anything? Anyways, have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.